Hey gaming fans, so today I have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Ninja Dragon deck profile. This is kind of a unique one. I kind of put this together. I had original plans that were different, but I ended up putting this together and I think it works pretty good. So let's get to the deck profile and I'll explain my choices. So for the first ninja, we have Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo, which he's probably your best ninja of the whole deck. When he's summoned, you get to add a ninjutsu art card, which will be your trap card. I'll show that later. And or when he's flip summoned or special summoned, you can add a ninja from your deck to your hand. So he always gives you like card advantage. The next one is 2 of the Twilight Ninja Shinjutsu or Getsu. He prevents ninjas from being targeted for attacks or effects, pretty much. That's an okay effect. It might come in handy. But also, when he dies by your opponent, by battle or card effect, you get to search your deck for a ninja. So again, he kind of replaces himself. Then I got 3 Upstart Golden Ninja. He's not really big on attack. He's like 500 attack. But you use him for his effect. He's kind of like a summoner monk for the ninjas. You discard a trap card, and then you can add a ninja monster from your deck to summon a ninja monster in defense position or face down to defense, but you probably won't do that. And then you can go into like Xyz plays. And then I got 2 Ninja Grandmaster Suzuki, which is an okay. I mean, it's 1800 attack, beat stick essentially. But he does have an effect that if your opponent's monster is in defense mode, he destroys it without destroying it for battle. Basically, it's an effect, he destroys the monster. So it doesn't matter how big their defense is. And if they have an effect that goes off, like Mystic Tomato, for instance, that they have to die in battle, they don't die in battle. So it's okay. So that's my ninja lineup. It's a pretty slim build for ninjas. I did play around with having 3 of these, but I needed the space for the dragons. So your primary dragon that you're going to be using in this deck and what it's based around is Light Pulsar Dragon. This guy is really cool. I mean, 2500 attack. You can special summon him either from your hand or from the graveyard. To get him from the graveyard, you have to discard a light and a dark from your hand monster, or if he's in your hand, you have to banish a dark and a light monster from your graveyard and to special summon him. And he's got an added bonus that when he leaves the field, you can special summon a dark dragon type monster from your graveyard. So it has to be a level 5 or higher. So these are the targets. We got 2 Dark Flare Dragons. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing 1 light and 1 dark monster from your graveyard. So it's similar to this guy's effect. He's one of his effects anyways. And once per turn, you can send 1 dragon type monster from your hand and your deck to the graveyard and target a card in any graveyard and banish that target. So it really acts as your Foolish Burial as well. You can send a dragon to the graveyard, then you can banish something from your opponent's graveyard if you're afraid of them bringing it back. And your main dragon that you're going to use with your Light Pulsar is your Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. He's pretty much the main focus of this build with the Light Pulsar. And that being that if the Light Pulsar dies, and this is in your graveyard, you get this back to the field through his effect, and then on your turn, use his effect, the Metal Dragon, to special summon the Light Pulsar back. So it's kind of a loop in a sense, if he gets destroyed on your, if they both get destroyed on your turn, his effect will kick in the graveyard and send him back to the field, and then his effect will kick in and bring him back. So it's kind of cool. Really annoying combo to get around. Also, he's got the added part that you can banish a dragon from your field, to special summon him from your hand. So I did throw in some level 4 dragons as well. So the first 2 level 4s I have are the white and black dragon. They basically, they work similar. You have to banish a dark or a light, depending on which one it is, and to special summon them. And then if they die, you get to add the other one to your hand. Unfortunately, they're at 1 each on the ban list, so you can only play 1 of each. But it's a great special summon. It's a way to get a dragon out into the field, and you can use them as Xyz material if you need to, depending on how the game is going. And then I got 2 more dragons, and they're actually normal monsters. And there's a reason for this. So I got a light and a dark dragon, and they're both level 4. You can either summon it to the field and then banish it to special summon your Red Eyes, or you could just use them as fodder for their light and dark attributes. And that's it for the monster lineup. Let's get into the spells. So I run a pretty lean spell lineup here, mostly traps in this deck. So I got a reinforcements of the army because they're all warriors pretty much, all the ninjas. You're probably going to grab your Hanzo or whichever ninja you need. Monster Reborn because it's a good card and you can always just, you know, bring back any monster from your graveyard or your opponent's graveyard if you have to. 3 of the Dragon Shrine. Now this is also why we play normal monsters. So Dragon Shrine is your Foolish Burial of the deck. You send a dragon monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if it's a normal monster, you get to send another dragon monster from your deck to your graveyard. So you pretty much would send this guy, and then, or the light one, depending on whatever you needed, to get your Red Eyes into the graveyard. You could also send both of them if you want. I mean, I do run 3 copies, so hopefully you can see 2 of them in a game. And then that sets up your graveyard with the light and dark targets. So it really helps to just speed up and get that stuff into the grave where you need it. And then when you banish too many things, I put in a burial from a different dimension, which allows me to select up to 3 remove from play monsters and return them to the graveyard. So that can bring back a pulsar and say the 2 light and dark targets that use to special summon him. Enemy Controller. Now there's a reason why I'm playing these cards. One reason is your Suzuki Ninja. If there's a really big monster your opponent has on the field, you could use Enemy Controller to turn it to defense mode and just crack this guy into him. Get rid of whatever you want. But also, another reason why I'm running that, it is a defensive card as well. If your opponent tries to attack you directly, you can turn it to defense mode. But I also put it in here because of the light pulsars, and I'll explain that in a few seconds. And that's it for our spells. So the traps, this is your main trap. This is your ninjutsu art trap. This is what Hanzo will search out. And you pretty much get this all the time because Hanzo will search him out, and there's lots to search out Hanzo. And so what this does is it trades off any of your ninjas and one of your opponent's monsters, your choice, to the graveyard, and then you get to special summon a dragon from your deck with a level equal to the amount of levels the 2 monsters were, or less. So if it's your dragon, your ninja is level 4, and you send your opponent's level 4 monster to the graveyard, it could be a dragon of 8 or less. But mostly you're going to go for your light pulsar or your dark flare dragons. And if there was enough levels, you probably could do Red Eyes. But you're probably going to go for your light pulsar because it's a 4 and, you know, it's 6, I mean. And so you just got to send an opponent's monster of level 4 or higher, and you get your light pulsar. Now the problem is, this card stays on the field, and if this card gets destroyed, your light pulsar gets banished. So you don't want that to happen. So if your opponent does draw an MST and tries to destroy this or whatever, you can chain your enemy controller to tribute it off, get it into the graveyard, steal one of their monsters. I mean, you can also do that offensively as well. Say they have a monster that is bigger than yours, trade it off, get the monster, and then you can always bring this guy back from the grave. So it's kind of like a cheat to this effect. So we got 3 of those. Well, I'll just leave those there. This card I'm trying out as well. Exchange of Night and Day. So basically what this does is it allows you to trade like a warrior in your hand, a light or a dark warrior, with the opposite attribute. So if you have a light monster warrior in your hand, you activate this card, you discard it, and then you get to add a dark warrior to your hand. And vice versa. It's got the other effect where if it's a dark warrior in your hand, you send it to the graveyard and get a light warrior. So, and you can use this on your opponent's turn as well. So because this is only once per turn effect, you could, on your turn, send your light guy, grab your Hanzo, summon him, whatever. Or you can send your Hanzo, or you could send one of your other ninjas just to get the opposite attribute. And it sets up your graveyard with the light and dark targets for your light pulsar dragon. So I decided to stick with 2. 3 would just be too much. And 1, you might not ever see it. So 2 should just be okay. So I threw in 2 Call of the Haunted because you are throwing almost all your monsters into the grave, which is a good, you know, way to get them back out is through Call of the Haunted. And, you know, with Light Pulsar, if you pull him out with Call of the Haunted, and your opponent, again, MSTs the Call of the Haunted, unless they chain to it, of course, you can't. But if it's on a later turn and then they think they can get rid of your Light Pulsar by destroying this card, you're going to get something better back. 2 Torrential Tributes, because you don't care if you blow up your monster field. Once you get yourself set up with your Light Pulsar and your Darkness Metal Dragon, if they get blown up at the same time, Light Pulsar will activate, bring back the Darkness Metal Dragon, and if it's on your turn, then you can bring back the Light Pulsar Dragon, and you've cleared your opponent's field of monsters. And then to round up the traps, I have 3 Raigeki Breaks, mainly because I wanted something that I can get anything out of my hand. So if I was holding on to my Darkness Metal Dragon and I wanted him in the graveyard, this is one way to do it, and you can get rid of your opponent's stubborn cards, like a Mystic Mine or something just as bad, if there is such a thing. And that's it for the deck. So I did throw together a extra deck, which is mostly just Xyz monsters. So like your Blade Armor Ninja, you know, this is a good deck to play him in, because you got all warriors pretty much. Well, mostly warriors for your ninjas. So you can attack twice with this guy. And that's a total of 4,400 damage if you get 2 direct attacks with it. Same with this one, 2 level 4s. You can double his attack, so he becomes 4,000 attack. So that's the Heroic Champion Excalibur. And then I threw in just a variety of stuff like Queen Dragon. This is another Xyz monster that can bring back big dragons, but it doesn't allow that dragon to attack that turn, and it negates its effect, which is okay, because you're going to use it probably for your pulsars and stuff like that anyways. And if it does get destroyed, it activates in the graveyard, so it's not a big deal. Then I threw in like just a bunch of standard rank 4 stuff like Black Ship of Corn, Heartland Drago, Masquerade. You can pull him out. He takes 3 level 4s, but you know, it is possible. 101 Silent Honor Arc, Abyss Dweller, Diamond Dire Wolf. These are all my standard go-to rank 4s that just solve all different kinds of problems. Castel, Digesto, Utopia. And you can pull out this guy, which is Starliege Paladin Dynamo. He's pretty cool. He's 2 level 4 light monsters, so you can pull it off. And when he basically can reduce your opponent's monster to 0 and negate its effect. And if he gets destroyed by your opponent, you get to draw a card. So pretty cool. And a Master Key Beetle, which is 2 dark monsters. His effect's alright. But that's pretty much, you know, up to you and what you want to play as far as your ranks are concerned. But that's pretty much the deck. So, you know, I've done a little bit of testing on it just to try it out. Just a few draws and stuff. And I've had to tweak it here and there. Let me know what you think. What would you change about it? What would you add in? Have you ever played a deck like this? I would always like to know. Throw your comments down below. Hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.